Have you ever felt like a prisoner inside your own head? Where you're just stuck replaying some negative event over and over and over again. Well, what if I told you we've been fighting the wrong battle this whole time? Let's dive into a really transformative idea for finding some mental freedom.
So, picture this. There's this office worker, right? He makes one tiny mistake. His phone goes off in a meeting. The fallout? He gets transferred. Now, the event itself, the phone ringing, that was over in seconds. But the mental replay? Oh, that went on and on. That endless loop of, how could I have been so stupid and this is so unfair? That's what caused the real lasting agony. And I think we've all been there in some way.
And this story, it really gets to the heart of a huge question. Why? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we become prisoners of our own minds, turning a single fleeting moment of pain into this epic, long-running drama? The answer, it turns out, is surprisingly simple, but it changes everything.
So let's get into it. Section 1, the thought trap. We're going to uncover the true source of all this mental noise.
Okay, here it is. This is the big reveal. The problem isn't the initial thought that just pops into your head. That flash of a painful memory or a worry. The real problem, the source of the suffering, is the thinking. It's the willful, conscious act of grabbing onto that thought, analyzing it, judging it, and replaying it. The initial spark isn't the fire. It's the mental gasoline we pour on it that causes the explosion. All right, section 2. Let's really break this down. Thought versus thinking, because understanding this difference is the whole key.
Okay, just look at the contrast here. A thought? It's like a flash of lightning. It's totally automatic, it's unconscious, and it's gone in a split second. A thought is something that happens to you. And this is crucial. You are not responsible for it. But thinking, well, that's different. That is a willful, conscious choice. Thinking is an action that you do. It's the act of reaching out, grabbing that lightning flash, and refusing to let it go. You keep it alive, giving it a power it never ever had on its own.
So what do we do with this information? How do we apply it? That brings us to section 3, the 40-60 rule. This is a super practical way to frame this for a more peaceful mind.
So imagine your total energy is split into 2 buckets. The first bucket, that's about 40%, is your inner world. This is where all those automatic thoughts, feelings, and sensations just appear. Your role with this 40% is simple, but not easy. Just observe. Don't interfere. Don't touch it. Now the other bucket, the 60%, that is for the outer world. This is for your conscious actions, your duties, your responsibilities. This is where your willful thinking and planning belong. This is where you're meant to act. Because trying to fight or fix that 40%, those automatic thoughts, it's completely pointless. It's literally like sticking your hand into a fast-flowing river, thinking you can stop it. You can't. You don't stop the river. You just create a chaotic whirlpool of struggle right around your own hand. If you just left it alone, the thought would have flowed right by.
All right, so that's the theory. But how does this actually apply to real-life struggles? Let's move on to section 4, putting it into practice. Let's take some examples. Grieving parents. The sudden, sharp pang of pain from their loss. That's the automatic thought. That's the 40%. The prolonged suffering comes from the willful thinking. It's my duty to feel this sorrow. I have to suffer. Or think about an anxious cricket player. The flicker of fear right before he bats? That's just a thought, harmless. But then he starts thinking about the fear. Oh no, I'm feeling fear. I can't feel this. And that extra pressure is what makes him choke. The initial thought did nothing. The thinking about it caused the failure.
And this trap is so sneaky it can even show up in our spiritual lives. There's the story of an American in Tiruvannamalai who is desperately trying to have a divine experience. But that very act of seeking, of trying to force an internal state, well, that's just more willful thinking in the 40% zone. It's creating another whirlpool. Real peace, true freedom, isn't something you go out and achieve. It's the natural state that's already there once you stop all the internal effort.
Okay, so what is the actual path forward? This brings us to our final section. Section 5, the path to freedom. This is about what it truly means to declare peace with your own mind. It really boils down to 3 simple steps. First, you just have to recognize the difference in the moment. Ask yourself, is this an automatic thought or am I willfully thinking right now? Step 2,
If it's an automatic thought from that 40% zone, you disengage. You drop it, you don't judge it, you don't fight it, you don't justify it, you just let it pass by like a cloud in the sky. And finally, step 3, you refocus all that energy you just saved and pour it into the 60%. Your duties, your actions, the world right in front of you. That's where you actually have power.
So you see, the goal is not to become a better warrior and finally win the war inside your head. The goal is to have the profound realization that you never had to sign up for that war in the first place. You can just put down your weapons. The fight is optional. So I'll leave you with this question. Just imagine, for a moment, all the time and energy you currently spend fighting, wrestling, and negotiating with your own thoughts. If you were to just stop, if you were to declare peace with that inner world, what would you do with all that freed up energy? What could you create? What could you build? What becomes possible for you then?